Welcome to Confessions of an SEO. This is Carolyn Holzman. These are my experiences in SEO, both as an SEO and as an SEO tester. So this isn't going to be me telling you what someone else says about SEO. I believe in firsthand experience to understand Google, so I watch their feet. If you're an independent or agency SEO, I get you. And for you business owners or stakeholders who are struggling a little to keep up on the SEO front but don't want to show it, for many years, I was a local business owner and I understand the frustration of being the one in charge, but not when it comes to something like SEO. So a hearty thank you to Confessions testing and research sponsor, the dental marketing guy, Justin Morgan. He owns and manages a marketing analyst and service firm for dentists. And you can find him by searching for the dental marketing guy or just click the link in the description. Now let's get started. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 42. This week is a little compressed for me. I'm going to be doing some traveling and spending some time with family, which is kind of why I enjoy doing what I'm doing, to give me a little bit of freedom to be able to be there when things are happening. So I'm going to grab that one. As I was fleshing out this week's topic, and I started thinking, what if it were possible for present day me to get a message to early SEO days Carolyn? What would be 3 things that I would share? Well, would it be, hey, Carolyn, vary your anchor text a lot more in 2011, will you? I know. However tempting that might be, I know at this stage in my life, I learned so much from that experience. So I probably would not want to interfere with my complete experience on that update. That was the Penguin update in 2012, so I would be like prepping for it early. And also, if you're a Star Trek fan, you know about the Prime Directive, so that wouldn't be cool. So what 3 possible messages to Carolyn of the past might have made the road maybe a little more pleasant, made the trip pleasant? So if you're ready, I'm going to give it a shot. Okay, now first, I think I might be a little freaked out if I got a message from the future. So if you remember Back to the Future, so to speak, I don't know how I would present this, but if I did, these would be the things I'd say. So for many years, I worked in isolation, and I know that is not a unique situation in SEO. And as I think about it, I suppose I would recommend early on to have gotten a project manager, someone to be a buffer between me and clients. And that might have helped curb my client SEO PTSD. Now, I am doing that now, and I have to say it does feel different. Now, I've heard that before, and I think knowing what I know now, that separation probably would have given me the ability to answer the Foo King question. That was a Braveheart reference for you movie buffs. To answer the question without having to deliver the answer. Someone else could. Right now, I think, it's worth for me to have that kind of space. So I don't let my response sort of sail out of my mouth, with a couple of ill-phrased responses. I think when there's a degree of separation, it can be easier, I should say, to answer annoying questions and have someone else deliver that response. Okay, so I like that one. Get a production manager and let them be the go-between. But as I thought about that, I thought, I might start out talking to myself, Carolyn from the past, to say, it's okay to ask for help. And here's an area where you might want some. So I think if I said it like that, I think it would give the younger, less experienced me more help than just sort of nailing it down, I think, on stuff to help client SEO. See, I'm really trying to think about this. So yeah, I think I would say don't be afraid to ask for help. In fact, it will help you grow. So what else? I think the second message might be along the lines of, it's okay to trust your gut more. Now, the SEO industry, and I'm sure every industry related to making money, is rife with FOMO, fear of missing out. And I think I made a lot of decisions based on that. And I did it when there was a part of me that was maybe saying, I don't know. I know I spent a lot of money on things that didn't help me one bit. But the thing that really, I think, gets costly is how you spend your time. I've heard it said that whatever your gut is telling you, no matter what it is, remember that your gut is always on your side. And part of that trusting, I think also would not to be afraid to let clients go, clients that aren't or were never going to be a good fit. And maybe explore the freedom of letting them go and also letting go of my own expectations of essentially clients that just didn't fit. I understand more now about the energy that's required to keep the peace. It's exhausting. You can feel and be so depleted that it might mean you don't see the next more suitable client opportunity. And the never-ending push to either always be in a learning mode, or as some call it, in the search for the easy button. Some days that's what it was, I'll be honest. But not to be afraid to not know something. It brings me no pride to admit this, but when I started in SEO, I wasn't always my own best friend. Hell, I wasn't even always my own friend, much less my own best friend. So what do I mean by that? So in the early days, the minute Google did a Google, I would immediately assume it was something that I did wrong. And I know I'm like preaching all the time. It's like, it's not you, it's Google. But, one of the things I think, one of the hardest things to do as a young SEO is to not do anything when an update hits. And in those days, updates would hit hard. Now, they weren't always rolling in the algorithm like they do now for the most part. Google might run them 2 or 3 times a year. And I'm going back to like Panda and Penguin updates. And you wouldn't know for a while if those changes that you had made in response to the update would improve the outcome. There'd be a long gap between the time you would make the change and wait for the resorting to happen. And as I think about it and describe it, it's a bit like trying to whack a piñata with a blindfold on and somebody pulling the rope up and down while you're trying to swing it at the whole time. And to look back on that, it's kind of hard to call that a profession, but it is kind of how it was. It is sometimes. So yeah, I would think I would say anytime that Carolyn in the past would have an opportunity, I would tell her to trust yourself. Listen to your gut. Sometimes you have to stop moving and be silent to hear that. So, okay, message 1 was ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Message 2 is trust yourself more. So I think the third one, this may be a little more specific, but I think I would say go to more conferences. And instead of always being the first one in the room in the morning, I'm a morning person, maybe sleep in a little so you can stay up in the bar a little later after all the presentations are done and really get to know more people. You think I would have learned that lesson sooner. Most people learn that one in high school, right? But when you're a type A personality that relax and have fun, it doesn't really come naturally. And although I guess my production manager, if I had one, would probably have reminded me about that. I am really liking this setup. So, okay. So do I think that things might have turned out differently if I'd gotten these kinds of messages from future Carolyn? Well, I don't know. I think it might have happened that that I maybe would have been a little more comfortable while working in such a hostile environment like search results. I may have still really not liked client SEO, but then again, it might have been a different thing for me and I might have loved it. I don't know. But then, I wouldn't have had all the content I had for episode 2 of Confessions, Why I Hate Client SEO. So I guess I would have had another topic maybe. Who knows? I'm a firm believer in that we can make our own reality at any time, and it's really never too late. And the cool thing is, I also have an opportunity to practice one of these recommendations I would have made myself, but to do it at an upcoming conference. And it's the SEO Rockstars. It's happening in Dallas this year. I'll put a link in the description if you're curious about attending. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm going to go up earlier than the day that it starts, because I want to have some time to visit with other colleagues that are also coming in before the conference actually starts. And since I don't have to deal with losing 2 hours, thank you, time zone, I won't also be waking up at 4 a.m. thinking it feels like 6. So I'll be able to, I think, manage my time and actually stay up past 8 o'clock. You do know this is a podcast that's named Confessions, right? So please don't stand so close to me while I'm confessing. So anyway, I'll report back and let you know how I do. Next week, I'm going to be able to, I think, condense some of the latest information from the indexation research. It is a whole new thing for new content. Well, that's going to be it for today. Remember, catch the daily crawl or no crawl reports. You can find them on YouTube, and you can just search crawl or no crawl YouTube and you'll see it. Click on the link in the description to subscribe, and then YouTube will notify you when there's a new one up there. Thank you for being a listener. Thank you to the sponsors of Confessions that help support this work for themselves and others. And special thank you to Justin Morgan. If you would like to support this podcast and SEO research, there's a link in the description, and it takes you over to anchor.fm. And if you find that those levels are too low for your taste and you want to be more of a substantial sponsor, please feel free to reach out to me at confessions@americanwaymedia.com. Subscribe to Confessions. If you haven't settled on one source for your podcast, you can just Google Confessions of an SEO. You can't miss it. It has been my pleasure to be with you. Thank you for your time, and I will see you in the service.